It's time for Q&A in the Kitchen. It's a podcast and YouTube series where tattoo artists and piercer talk about some of the more common questions that those who collect piercings and tattoos ask, generally.
Yeah.
Brought to you in part by Skin Kitchen Tattoo, the Axiom Body Piercing Studio, or in the Axiom Body Piercing Studio. I forgot the end.
Yeah.
Because we used to have a third one, but
you're just all a jar.
Yeah, well, you know,
was it that trail mix?
Yeah, it might have been the trail mix, or it's the distraction of all the text messages I just got.
It made you a little nutty. You hit a button. You fucking jerk. Oh, the slider is all the way down. No? You gotta hit. There's.
Yeah, technology. Anyway.
All this technology and it just sits there.
Yeah, it does.
So disappointing.
If I had time to learn all these things.
You got as much time as you make.
I wish I could make more.
Wouldn't that be neat?
Anyway, on the panel today we have Jimmy St. John.
What's up, guys?
Tattoo artist at the Skin Kitchen. Jack Lowe, tattoo artist at Skin Kitchen, also the owner of the Skin Kitchen, and me, DaVo, piercer and owner of the Axiom Body Piercing.
An introducer extraordinaire.
And, yeah, I don't know if I'm the host. No.
Yeah, well, I consider you the host. You know, you say the intros and the outros, and, you know, you usually, you pose the questions. I'd say you're the leader, the captain of our little show here.
Okay. Well,
nice.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
What we're going to talk about today is when you should not get tattooed or pierced.
Yeah. When to say no.
When to say no.
When do you say no?
Yep.
Yeah, wasn't that was good.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Yeah, I was giving it a little pause there.
Pause, yeah.
Okay, Jimmy?
My first thing would be right when you've had some kind of emotional or some major change in your life. You've lost a loved one. You just met a new girlfriend. You think you're in love immediately. So, like, you got to rush out and get a tattoo right now for them, you know, on this moment without putting any thought or really, you know, consciousness into it.
Yeah, well, and you have to remember, too, that doing that is going to put a bookmark in that spot in your life. So just remember, because all my tattoos, whether no matter whether it was what it was about, I remember when, where, you know, how I felt, the mood I was in, and everything else. So you have to be able to accept that when you look at that tattoo, you're going to have a little bit of what you were feeling at the time you got that tattoo, brought up in your brain. So that's good sometimes. You know, people want to remember a time or a place. It's like a memento, and it's like a little snapshot of where they were and how they felt.
Right.
But if you're in a real bad spot, that might be good to remind yourself that, hey, or, you know, after you get out of it, you know, you get that little, you know, I beat you kind of thing. But just be aware that your brain is going to be linked to that at least a little.
Yeah, it can be like a memento of a badder time, reminding you constantly that you had the strength to overcome that.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly.
With grieving, I think I'm not going to go through all the stages, but for me, it's always been, it takes me a while to get to the point where every time I think about that person, I'm not like, oh man, why did that happen?
Right.
And more about, oh yeah, remember that one time they did this and how much of an impact that's had on my life. And, you know, God, you know, it's great that I had them there, where you value their presence.
It honors them more, their memory more.
Yeah. Yeah. And tattoo meaning can change over time. So that's the same thing, or a piercing. But yeah, as far as the emotional side, if it has anything to do with a relationship, unless it's oh God, I'm so happy to be out of that terrible situation, I really wouldn't advise doing it.
Yeah, and I was going to say on that line, you know, people always say that getting someone's name is like a curse on the relationship. Well, my thinking on that is, most of the time when someone gets another person's name tattooed on them, it's not when the relationship is super, super great.
Nope.
It's when they might have screwed up and they're getting that tattoo to prove that other person, no, see, I really do love you. It's not, you know, what I did didn't mean nothing because, look, I wouldn't do this unless I really loved you. Well, that doesn't work, and the relationship was on the rocks or not doing great anyway, or you probably wouldn't have done that something that made that rough spot in your relationship. So a lot of times, you'll see somebody with a name, and which is fine. Just know that you're not guaranteed to be with that person, and you might not be with them, but you still got the name. But don't get anything unless it's for you. Yeah. Don't get something as a gift to someone else on you.
No.
It's like they say, don't get the portrait of anyone still living.
Nope.
I don't know if anybody's ever heard that, but because, okay, man, I got Bill Cosby on my forearm, man. He did what?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, now I got, so once they're dead, they can't really screw with you or mess up anymore. But just make sure no matter what you get, and I have my ex-wife's name on my wrist and have since Chicago. But when I got it, I wasn't getting it for her. I was getting it in kind of honor of her and the relationship, the impact she had on my life, the things we went through, the stuff I learned, the stuff we learned together. And I remember having the conversation with myself when I got it, and it's for me to, I guess, always, like we were talking about before, remind me that no matter what happens with me and that lady, even if she tried to kill me, the point to where when I got this tattoo, and even afterwards to this day, she was awesome. We went through our 20s, our 30s together. We changed so much. We overcame so much. She was great and all that stuff. So, I still have it here. I haven't even thought of covering it or doing anything with it because, she was a big part of my life, whether she's with me or I'm with her or not anymore. So I just... some people, they get it and they regret it because they didn't get it for them.
Right. The motivation was something else. Either they were being pressured into getting it done. The same thing will happen with piercings.
Right.
I have on a number of occasions had a couple come in and the female's getting a piercing done and the female says absolutely nothing to me the entire time we're going through the consultation. And I always try to separate them so that I can get her in the back, especially if it's in a private area, to go, is this something you really want? Or is it he wants you to have this?
Yeah.
I mean, and I think the same thing rolls into, why don't you have my name on you? Right. This whole attitude of why aren't you marking yourself with my ownership?
Mm-hmm.
And, you really have to look at the motivation. You should never do something for someone else.
Nope.
I don't know if I've told this story before, but it goes right in. It's right along with that is I had a guy come in and with his girlfriend, and he was getting her name tattooed on his chest right here, and on his chest right here. I thought I had to clarify for the audio version, but I said chest. They'd know.
Yeah, upper. We'll say upper.
Anyway.
Right.
Upper pectoral
or left,
region.
Actually. Yeah.
So anyway, he doesn't really say much of a word the whole time. She doesn't really say much. I want this name here. And so got done, wiped it off, and I was like, all right, man, we're all done. I didn't get that out of my mouth before she started going, you are so stupid. I cannot believe you're so stupid to get my name tattooed on your chest. And I thought, well, you sat right there and watched him do it.
Yeah.
Well, you could have said this 20 minutes ago,
but
you didn't. You wanted him to feel as stupid as absolutely possible and throw him under the bus and make him look like an idiot in front of as many people as you could, I guess. So after she was done telling him how stupid he was, I looked at him and said, when you're ready, I'll cover that for free.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and he did. He found me a few years later, and I covered it.
One of my famous sayings to people back in the day when I was starting out, they would come in, I want to get this name or this, blah, blah, blah. I was like, in my recommendation, you only get your kids' names because your kids are always going to be your kids, whether they make you mad or not.
Even if they embarrass you.
And a dead relative, because a dead relative can't piss you off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was always and they always thought that was funny. And I was like, it's true. Like, kid's always your kid, and somebody dead can't make you mad. But the other people, think very long and hard. It's like getting a band logo. Man, I was 18, and I thought Anthrax was the best band on the planet. And now I'm 46, and they're cool, but I don't want it all the way down my arm.
Right. Just, and that's the hang up a lot of people have. Like, man, I'd want a tattoo, but I can't think of anything I'd want on my body forever. So and which is totally valid, absolutely valid. Because if they're not, if they're unsure about getting it and can't see that, even if down the road I don't like it, it reminds me of that person I was.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and I have those all over me.
It's part
you
of
know?
your journey.
And not that I don't wish I had it or anything like that, but it might not be something I would choose to wear now, but that's not the point.
Right.
You know, to me,
Right.
a tattoo is a snapshot in time, is a thought, is a feeling, is emotion that I kind of want to mark and remember. And some people might not either value that at all or even see that side of it.
Yeah.
They're looking at it more as an aesthetic, thing.
Right.
Am I going to like the way that looks later? Well, in that regard, that is important, but you can't answer that question until later.
Nope.
I think part of it is you're buying into a set of marketed coolness.
Right.
Bit, yeah.
Getting that tattoo.
Yeah, you want to be part of the crew.
The reason you get it, exactly.
Yeah.
And
it's like for the same reason people get like Nike symbols tattooed on them.
yeah.
I mean,
It's if that represents that brand you associate heavily with.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I mean,
But-
if you're a huge sneakerhead and you collect only Nikes, then it makes sense.
Even if you don't later, it'll mark
it's that time in your life when you did. Yeah.
right.
Or if you're a Ford nut.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I tattooed the Tommy Hilfiger logo back in the day when Tommy Hilfiger was
Yeah.
big. I mean, like on his bicep, pretty large. I don't know if he still has it, and if he does, if he likes it or not. But that something like that, really like anything. Think about why you're getting it, because it's not a baseball cap, it's not a pair of jeans.
No.
That's
Not a
why.
band T-shirt.
That's why until our boss tells us that it's illegal and it can't be done anymore, it will be a part of the of the United States of America's our life.
Yeah.
Because everybody's parents are gonna have tattoos. It's gonna be just a mainstay everywhere you go. As you're growing up, you're gonna see tattoos everywhere. It's a part of our culture now. It's not a pair of jeans. It's not gonna wear out. It's something you cannot put in a drawer. You can't, cut the sleeves off and try to, make it into a rag. It is in our culture, literally stitched into our culture now. So that's an important thing, another little piece to remember when you're
And you never know, and that's the thing. Everybody experiences this as tattoos. What does it mean? What does a tattoo mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of times I just don't go into it. But I mean, for that guy, it might be something to do with the story of Tommy Hilfiger and his rise in fame, how that represents in his life. Maybe he's going into fashion at some point, or maybe fashion's very important to him.
Maybe he really liked the Nazi Party and thought that the designs he did for those people.
I thought that was Hugo Boss.
Oh, Hugo! I'm sorry, Tommy, but
Yeah,
Tommy
Hugo
Hilfiger.
Boss.
Yeah, that was Hugo. Sorry, I got him mixed up.
Because remember, for a while there, it was fashionable to have the German eagle thing. On the chest.
That was kind of adopted by certain, I don't know, groups or people, and kind of used it.
Well,
Shock value.
It was like it was an altered version of it,
Right.
But it was everywhere.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I want to say it had something to do with when the two Germanys were separate. One of their military used that symbol.
Huh. Anyway. Talk about off track, but it's something to like you said. What does it mean? That's another thing with people. Some people will not get a tattoo unless it has a meaning, right? And some people will get a tattoo because it looks neat.
Yeah.
Just aesthetically, I think this skull design looks kind of neat on the back of my hand. It doesn't mean anything other than I like that design and I think it looks good here.
Yeah.
So I use the analogy of, do you ever look at a hot rod and ask, what do the flames mean?
No. It's
Well,
like pinstripe.
why would you paint this $80,000 hot rod with flames and it has no meaning? That's ridiculous. And it's valid to someone who doesn't get it.
Doesn't get it.
But a tattoo is the same thing. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. I just thought that design looked cool, and I thought it would look really nice there, and that's
But
all
I
it
have
is.
to say my green machine went faster after I got the fire stickers.
Oh, absolutely.
Totally.
Went so fast.
But,
so much faster.
if you're not a car head, you're not going to understand the 20 horsepower that a flame job adds to a hot rod.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
You don't even want to go into that, but yeah.
And that brings up an interesting idea with if you are trying to, you're really involved with somebody, you think they're very important in your life, you think maybe they're going to be here for, and you want to get away from the name curse, a symbol that represents them is just as equally as powerful and meaningful, and in a lot of ways more meaningful than having somebody's name on them.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly true.
Pictures worth 1,000 words.
Yeah, I have some roses that represent some of my early relationships and people that were important to me. And yeah, that means more to me than having their names there. Yeah. Because if their names are there, it's just generic and doesn't mean anything.
Now, that really only subdues or takes out of it the other people bringing it up and talking to you about it and turning the knife a bit if it was a bad memory or whatever, you got it for the wrong reason. Making it into something else, it's only you.
Yeah.
'Cause, you could say when you're getting it in your mind, like, oh yeah, she thinks it's for, her, but I just really like the design and I don't tie it in my brain to her at all anyway. And that's why, some chicks are like, no, you're getting my name, or guys, either way.
Which is like an ownership mark. It's kind of creepy when you really start thinking about it. I've never understood why people want to own people.
Yeah, well, let's not get onto that.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, anyway. if you're in a relationship with somebody, why would you want? I don't get it.
Yeah,
I get the role playing part of it, but the rest of it, I don't get it.
Yeah, that's like just like back to my tattoo here. I didn't get it for anything or anyone other than me. Right. I didn't. It was kind of, I guess, a way of showing respect or something. But even if she hated it or whatever, it was not about that. Like, you don't have to like my tattoos, even if it's your name. I got this for me to remind me of this life that we've had. Yeah. And if it ended tomorrow, it would not change my opinion on getting that tattoo. So it's whatever you put behind it in your brain.
Yes.
And taking an image to represent a thing keeps people from digging into your stuff.
And you're not going to have to, when that ends for whatever reason, you're not going to have to go through the next relationship complaining and yelling about it constantly.
Right. Yep. And
when is it going to be be my turn to have that name on me?
Yep. Right. Yeah.
Let's see. So I mean, basically, what we're trying to say is that it's your decision.
Yeah,
and it should stay your decision. You can ask for influence from the outside, but you should ultimately be because you want to do it, and don't do it because you think it's going to fix something. Because unless you're fixing yourself, it's not going to fix anything else.
Yeah, not really. I've tattooed more than I wish I had. People that had lost people, children, and parents, and all that. And I think in the same way that I have the name on me, it's more of a respect and honor thing, or can be, to show them. And it might help them heal in a way, but I guess it's all about your expectations and what you hope it does. Yeah. And that all comes back to know why you're getting it and what you expect out of it. And if that seems, worth the shot, to do it, then, hey, man, great, that's on you. But I think it can help some people in that way, that it's just, they feel like they can't do anything. That person's gone. What can I can't hug them. I can't kiss them. Yeah. They're gone. Yeah. But you know what? I can have them here. And that for me shows me, almost even confirms to myself that they were super important to me. I love them, and I'm always close to them now. Mm-hmm. So in that regard, it maybe does help that helpless feeling. It feels like they were able to do something for that person. But anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think, I always tell anybody that asks, especially my kid, because every time this came up, it's like funerals, wakes, memorials, statues, they're for the living. They're not for the dead, they're for the living.
Absolutely.
Tattoos are the same way. It's to celebrate that person in your life. Mm-hmm. And look at it that way.
Yep.
Anyway,
let's we could talk about the more at present reasons you shouldn't get a tattoo.
What do you mean?
If you go into a tattoo shop and your artist has one of those beer dispensing helmets on with the tube running to their mouth,
that's probably bad.
When should you walk out of the studio? Or run?
That would be for a lot of people kind of I might be in the wrong place. For some people, they might think, man, I'm going to get this sucker cheap.
Maybe.
But, definitely if your artist isn't well groomed, well spoken.
If they have to clean their workbench off of like something they're working on or building, like a motor or something.
Yeah, that's
going to be a bad one.
If they have facial hair and there's vomit in it.
Yeah.
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 Well, but they're probably feeling better now that they vomited. If they're going to vomit or they're not, or if they're definitely going to, you want to get tattooed after they vomit.
Yeah, totally.
Let's. A lot of it comes down to inappropriate behavior.
Yeah, you want to feel comfortable, and you want to feel like that person or that even that shop wants you there.
Yes.
Yeah,
you know,
the level of professionalism as well. You know?
Yeah. If you feel like you're in their way or bothering them, that's not a good feeling. I don't want to feel that way.
No.
You get the vibe like, why? I guess I'm not worthy of your time.
Yeah,
and why am I bothering? That kind of attitude. Yes.
Yeah, that might be a reason to think again, and that might be just that day. Maybe 20 minutes before a guy came in and got the whole shop riled up and was being a jerk and all that, and you just walked into that little storm. It's on that individually to determine what they're comfortable with and what they're not.
And as we work in this industry, we've all gone through this. It's hard sometimes to reset.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm struggling so much with quitting smoking. I know it sounds like another stupid excuse, but it's because I use that to reset.
Yeah.
I use that to separate myself from everything that's going on and just isolate it. The same way I did that whenever my family was getting in my nerves. I would go, oh, I need a cigarette. I'll see you in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And would walk over to the smoking section to get away from whatever the hell was going on at that point.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
But
we're just people, but as an overall, you should have a comfortable feel with the studio, and you should feel like they have answers for your questions, not like they're dancing around stuff or making excuses.
And see, the other thing is a couple of things. If you feel like they're being overly friendly and there's sexual undertones, now there's always a little bit of flirting that goes on between people regardless.
Yeah.
If you feel like they're making you remove more clothing than needed,
it's a sign
there's a sign that you should leave.
Yep.
If you're second guessing how clean the place is.
Yeah, it should generally be well kept, and most places do this as an automatic, but you should see them break the needle, the cartridge, whatever they use
in front of you.
Yeah, you should see them open that package. It's not that most places are dirty. It's just good common practice. And it's one of those things that, well, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So why aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's your own comfort level, but just as from some guys who've been around a while, it's really good practice, and it shows that they're want to do most anything they can to put you at ease, make you feel comfortable, and come off professional, like they care about how you're perceiving and how you're feeling. About what's going on.
Because I want you to feel comfortable and feel like you're not going to catch anything. Like with me, I always make a point of washing my hands as soon as I go into the station.
Right.
And I don't open packages until the person's in there.
Yeah.
So they can watch me open all this stuff from sterile packages. You guys don't open as much as you used to.
No, thank goodness.
It's just usually one thing, isn't it? On top of, of course,
1 to 2 cartridges, that's about it.
Yeah, it's just the cartridge, and same thing. I'll just lay out my machine or machines and the cartridges I think I'm going to be using, and right when they're there and we're getting ready to go, that's when I, pop that open before.
And we've talked a little about setup. There's a lot of care given to that. And usually it's done in a way to kind of reduce the amount of moisture that can come in contact with the sterile equipment.
Give you a disposable surface that, it gets rid of most of it, and then you can sanitize, and, you've got way less actual contamination as far as pools of ink or pools of soap or water,
and that's done between each client. So when you walk in there, if you see a drape and there's like ink all over it,
that's
probably a sign that you need to move along.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Or if they're running around the shop with their gloves on, answering the phone and touching everything, like
it's a rule in my shop that you don't leave your station with your gloves on. I don't care if they're clean or not.
It looks bad.
It looks disgusting, because if you're sitting there and you see a guy walk through the lobby with his gloves on, he's going to touch something. And even if he's not, he could have. So that gives you that.
There's only one time you should have your gloves on outside of your station, and that's when you're taking the trash out.
That's right.
It.
And that's after or before hours typically, unless somebody
you don't
pukes in it.
do that usually, but
and that's just for our safety more than anything else.
Right.
Because they shouldn't be doing. I've seen, because we've been around a long time. When we first started getting tattooed, nobody really got this. People would smoke with their gloves on. They would use one pair for the entire tattoo or the entire piercing. They would answer phones, eat dinner, pizza,
I've seen it all.
Dogs, whatever else. That's another thing is pets. They can be in the area, they can be in the shop, but they should not
be in the
actual tattoo area.
No.
I remember going in one place where they had all these newborn puppies
just
running around, and the place was carpeted.
Puppies don't ever pee or poo when they're not supposed to. Yikes!
Even at the fact they were tattooing over carpet, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's.
I mean, a snake or a lizard might be okay in the station.
I've seen that.
That's in an isolated fish. That's in an isolated environment. But puppies, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and really, you should feel comfortable with the environment you're in, how you're being treated, and that also you realizing that maybe you've never been in an environment like that.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't watch our video, and then so you don't know what to expect at all, and you're going in blind. But really, be treated well. Make sure that that things are tidy. And if don't be afraid to ask the artist or whatever questions, mostly before you get started, because afterwards, well, that's a dumb time to do it. But you should be able to feel comfortable enough to be able to talk about anything that you're not. And if you can't be satisfied in that regard, well, there's another place to go, and you should be feel as comfortable as you can in an environment like that, because more than likely you're going to be there a while, and you're going to be uncomfortable enough. You don't need other outside things making you even more.
That comes down to questions. Is like if you ask them a specific question, like is everything sterile? And they go, yup.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, okay. And you use new needle each time? Yup. And they don't explain I'm pretty proud of the way I do things.
And
I'm passionate about the way things they should give you longer answers. They should make you feel comfortable, and they should be knowledgeable about what they're doing.
Right, exactly.
And it's kind of falls on you to ask those questions.
Yeah. Well, you're in that shop because of you.
Yeah.
You chose to go in there, so you need to get the information that you're comfortable with too, and you should get most, if not all of that, most of it from before you even really go in.
Yeah.
You should get an idea of the shop and the work they do and how it runs even before you're there. Not only is that good for you, but it helps the shop even be more on top of things. They're going to be able to help you more, and they're going to have more time to help you because they haven't had to explain the whole process 5 times already that day, and that's why they didn't get to you as soon as they could. So, we expect there to be questions, and we expect you to, want to feel good about things. But a lot of that, especially I think with our studio, with the amount of content we have talking about things like this, that you can get, a lot of your questions answered and a lot of knowledge even before you go into that spot, because you're going to save yourself a lot of time too and frustration, because there's probably times where you're going to find something in their material or on their website before you go in that's like, oh no, that's not really the shop I'm going for.
Right. And see, that's what I find frustrating about most shops' web presence. It's like I love the fact I get to look at your tattoos. And that's a great profile photo you took, but there's no other information here.
Yeah.
Your hours of operation, how to set up an appointment. It's like, why didn't you take the time to kind of carry on a conversation? And that's what we've always approached both our sites with.
Yeah.
We want people to be able to go on there and answer a bunch of questions, and if they don't want to go through the process of reading, they can easily call and then talk to Jess, because Jess loves answering questions.
Yes,
she loves it.
Yes, she does.
Especially, can I get in today?
I think that
it's a small tattoo. Can I get in today?
I think maybe part of the reason that happens, it's really, again, different than the olden days where it's not so much anymore about a shop itself. It's about that individual artist, because you have a lot of people now that are laser focused on a certain style or want to get known for doing a certain thing. So you've got this very shotgun pattern of funds and focus where each person is trying to get the presence, and on top of that they don't have as much resource or time because it's so singular. And so you end up with, there's their tattoos, and okay, they're taking appointments now, and this is the number to call, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So it can be harder for certain things, but that's why, like we've said in the past, that ask people when you see a tattoo out in the world. Don't bug them. Just say, "Excuse me, I really like your tattoo. Who did it? Where did you get it done?" And
Real
everybody, 99% of people are going to love to tell you because, they want everyone to have a nice tattoo, and more than likely they really like that person, and they obviously respect their art. So they're going to want to, in a way, pay that artist some respect by saying, hey, you're going to get, they're kind of putting their name behind your name, saying, hey, this guy's going to take care of you. So ask, and that gives you a lot of information too, because like I said before, that person is going to go, did a great tattoo, don't expect them to be nice. Or, something like that.
Yeah.
And it, like I said, people are different, and, they're different from day to day to some degree, and they might have got that person on a bad day or something. But the more you see and the more you ask, you can make a law of averages and get a decent idea of.
And see, even the people I know that are just complete assholes that work in this industry, none of them are in this shop.
No, I haven't.
They still answered questions thoroughly.
Right. Yeah.
They just weren't going to sit down and chit chat with you while they were tattooing you.
Yeah, and that's for your own
or
good.
Piercing you. So it's like, it's either way, they should still answer the damn questions, and they should be happy to.
You should feel comfortable.
Yes.
And if when you ask questions you don't get a comforting or a satisfying answer, well, then how can you be comfortable?
Yeah, because it's my experience. The more knowledgeable you are, the less.
Yeah, you're going to be way more relaxed.
The less anxiety you're going to have.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Speaking of anxiety, you should not get tattooed or pierced when you're intoxicated.
Nope.
That does include marijuana and everything else. I know it comes from the earth and everything else, but
so do
the
rocks and
reality
poison.
is that it does amplify your emotions, which is a big part of getting tattooed or pierced. If there's a bunch of beer cans laying around and it's Friday night and it's about 9:30, you probably don't want to get tattooed or pierced there.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, that's kind of a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think, you'll hear, oh, I was passed out at a party and got that as an excuse more so than it really happens. It's not exactly in line with this, but if you have to get lubed up that much to do it, it's not a good idea.
Nope.
Even if you're kind of planning on doing it and then get lubed up, it's not a good idea because you're not going to make clear-headed decisions, and you're not going to be able to ask the questions to make sure that where you are is safe and going to do a good job, and you're going to irritate the crap out of the artist or piercer that's working on you. They're going to be frustrated, and they're not going to be able to do the absolute best they could have because maybe you're unruly or not.
You're talking with your
sharp.
hands. You're bleeding more.
Not paying attention.
And you're not paying attention to
Yeah.
anything I'm saying. That's basically, the usual drunken things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Or intoxicated
Yeah,
in
that's a
general.
very good point.
But yeah, so I mean that's a big part for me.
Oh, here's one that popped into my head. And this is getting to know your artist, but if your artist is not contacting you back, if they've kind of done a sitting on you and then you seem to be getting blown off, but hey man, I already paid for this much and da-da-da.
You're getting ghosted.
That's
what it is.
Yeah, that's not good.
No.
That's a very bad sign. And that could have been thwarted off by doing some more research and talking to some people who were tattooed by them. But that's not common practice.
No.
You should be able to get a satisfying response and a satisfying time and response. We are very, very busy, but we know we're busy. So if we're too busy to do it, then we should be having someone that's competent that can do it for them. So there's only so much excuse for that. Really, that shows me anyway that how serious they are and how much they care about how I'm feeling about this experience. So that might not be important to everyone out there, but I hear it a lot that, I just, I'd go in and, he'd reschedule, or, he wasn't there, or I had a 4-hour, sitting, and he only tattooed me for an hour and he was on the phone half the time. That's just not good practice.
No.
And it should show you that they aren't giving you the respect and time that you're paying for. So, keep an eye on things like that, how attentive the artist is to you, and just kind of the overall how much they give a crap.
Even if it's their counter person or whoever does their scheduling calling you back on a timely basis.
Exactly. Like I said, we as artists, at least in custom shops are mostly all like that. We're very busy. We not, it's like a band. If you've ever been in a band, it's an hour every week, they're up there, big deal. There's so much time spent behind the scenes preparing, getting ready, getting materials together, sterilizing things, setting up things, making sure everything's good and ordered and ready to go, drawn, that it's really a full-time job, really.
Yeah.
So we know that. And if we're not able to, respond and satisfy that to the customers, then you should have someone who can, or you need to think of another way you can approach your work so that you can keep these people satisfied. You're not going to do as much, but is that your goal, to do as many as you can? If it is, well, then that might not fit with the person you want to tattoo you. If it is, that's fine. But, typically you want, someone who's attentive and it can answer those questions and do it in a timely manner and not ghost you and, lead you down the primrose path.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. She was so hot for me, and then nothing.
Yeah, it happens to us all.
I thought he liked my tattoo, and then nothing.
And now he doesn't even want to talk to me.
Even call me.
He unfriended me and everything. Yeah. So I don't know. What do you think? I think
especially, of course, if there is a soon-to-happen event in your life that is going to impede your ability to heal or take care of said tattoo or piercing, do not do it.
If you're going on vacation.
I actually turned 2 people away last week because we're sitting there talking about doing a piercing, and they said, well, I'm leaving for Florida next week. No. Also, if you are currently...
Well, wait, back up. And the main reason, or a couple main reasons for that, is because... One, you don't want to be babysitting while you're on your vacation trying to relax. You don't want that tattoo to keep you from doing things that could be fun, memorable, or relaxing, because that defeats the whole reason you're on vacation. Mm-hmm. A lot of times there can be swimming or excessive sun involved in vacationing. Those are 2 terrible things for tattoos and piercings.
For healing, yes.
For healing that. Mm-hmm. So again, it's better to wait a couple weeks, maybe 3 or 4, depending on where you're going, because you're going to be sunburned when you come back. Do it afterwards, and it's not going to feel that detrimental to your lifestyle, for one, but it's going to have a way better chance of healing and looking great without you having to go in and set for more work just because
I know that a lot of people, it's either 2 reasons they want to do it right before vacation. Is either they think that they need it because they want to show it off on vacation, or it's a situation where they think, well, I won't have to deal with working while I'm healing it.
We'll come in earlier then.
And the thing is with that is, it's going to be a lot easier to heal that tattoo on your foot at work with cellophane over your foot or something than it is going to be in soaking wet socks because it rained the whole time you were at Disney World.
Yeah, and you're not going to be able to focus on the healing of that tattoo nearly good enough, or piercing nearly good enough to get a very satisfying result. Always remember, you paid good money for that tattoo, more than likely, if you went somewhere who values their work and does a good job, and not taking care of it, you're just kind of throwing some of that money in the toilet.
Oh yeah.
And
again, you have to have it fixed.
Yeah, and typically, depending on the type of damage that was done, it's not going to look as good as it could have, because you're going to have to go in and fidge around to smooth everything out and make it look good. So either come in enough time to have it at minimum 2 weeks for a tattoo before you go on vacation, then it's really not that big a deal.
Nope. Basically the whole
except for the sun, but that can be there are strategies to
sunblock.
Combat that. One being sunblock. Another, what I tell some people is to get a sock, cut the end off a sock, and just slide, just like if it's on your arm or something, just slide that over your tattoo if you're going to be out, in the sun, walking around shopping, even at the beach or something. That'll be just, a nice physical barrier to cover it. So but at least 2 weeks, then all of the scabs, or at least any that really matter, you might have some dry skin here and there, but all that's going to be healed and gone, and you don't have to worry about the water, which is, or it, rubbing on something, or you putting on and off something that could damage the tattoo.
And this is not something new we've said before, and it only covers, well, I guess it could cover the male side too. Don't get pregnant. If you're planning on getting pregnant, especially if you're healing out a piercing, which is a longer period of time in the near future, you may want to reconsider getting pierced. On tattooing and piercing both, if you're pregnant, no.
Nope.
I don't care if the person's willing to do it. Don't do it.
Nope. You're taking a big risk of infection. Not a big risk, but any risk when you're pregnant is a big risk because you could hurt your baby.
Two people.
So if you have a tattoo and you're pregnant and it's healing, and for some reason it does get infected, and that infection gets to the point where you should take some medication to stop that infection, you can't. That medication is going to affect your baby as well, and a lot of those medications that they need to give you to help you or save your life could potentially harm your child. So if a tattooer, and it's not if you're a professional tattooer, you do it right, it is low risk, but it's risk. And if you have to be okay with the tattoo artist saying, "Yeah, I don't care about your baby if you don't," and if you're cool with that, oh boy. But
Welcome to parenthood.
Yeah, if I know that you're pregnant, you tell me you're pregnant, there's no amount of anything you could offer me that would endanger your child.
Nope.
Yeah.
Because I've been in that situation before, where like we're getting ready to do it, and then it was the boyfriend who said, "Well, we're not expecting for another 9 months or 8. I think she was about 2 or 3 months in because she wasn't really showing." And he's like, "Oh, we want it'll be healed before the baby's here." And I'm like, "Oh, whoa, what?"
Yeah, bad idea. And a lot of people wouldn't probably like that.
It
didn't occur to them at all.
Right.
But when you're pregnant, there are certain things that you can eat, drink, medications you can take that are fine and are found.
Others that aren't.
And others, especially when you get into a situation with infection, that's one of the worst things you can face in your body, and can really get out of control really fast. And if you're a developing human being that's vulnerable to frickin' everything, it doesn't take much to do something detrimental to that baby.
Yeah.
So anyway, what
I thought of another one, and then I lost it because I zoned off there for a second.
Yeah, that was a really good one though. Yeah.
When you shouldn't get tattooed.
Yeah. What about you, Jimmy? You've been so quiet over there.
Well, I threw the first one out, and we kind of covered 2 off of my first one, but
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then shut up.
We did the emotion.
well, yeah, I think we've kind of covered most of them that I can remember.
There's a
and think
lot
of.
more.
Oh,
we
there's
could probably
tons.
talk
Well,
about.
there's tons, but
And I'm sure that's I'm sure we've got some of the major ones, but I bet we've blown right
through at least 3 or 4.
Yeah, that people are like, you didn't mention that one, but that'll give them a chance.
Yeah,
to
that
yell
gives
at
you
us.
something to comment about.
put it in the comments, and we'll revisit it.
Yeah, I mean, nothing huge is coming to mind now. Let's see. Well, I kind of said it before, but sunburns.
Yeah.
If you got
Oh, yeah,
sunburn,
if you're
or if you have a
sunburned.
rash.
Oh, I know what it was. If you have a pre-existing medical condition,
Yeah.
don't come to us and ask us if it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Talk to your doctor. If you are on blood thinners or any type of medication that may affect blood clotting or something along that line, don't talk to us about it.
Yeah, we're not
Talk to your
licensed to give you
doctor.
that information.
And also, it's not a bad idea when it comes to medication to also talk to your pharmacist, because they're probably more educated in how that pharma affects your body than your actual doctor.
Yep, and I've come across that several times where a person will be on blood thinners or something like that, and I will be asked, and that's exactly what I tell them. And most of the time, at least in my experience, the doctor can adjust or will okay it for that person. I'm not saying it's this is just this one experience or this group of experiences I've had.
Say for sure.
Is they can adjust it and, okay, stop taking it the day before and start taking it after, whatever it is, and it's fine. But we are liable if we, say, oh yeah, it's fine, and then you get sick or you get hurt somehow. That, that's not good only for business-wise, but that's really bad on us as human beings and our brain and what we just did to someone. So I'm not willing to take that risk so I can get whatever amount of money might be in play there. I'm going to make sure that you've talked to your doctor and he's okay with it, and go from there, because I'm not taking that risk.
And see, one of the biggest problems is that how that medication affects you, how that medication affects you, and how it affects me is different. And they're used in different ways to treat different conditions. So not everybody has the same condition. Right. On the same note, do not take anything that's over the counter that may thin your blood before you come in to get pierced or tattooed.
Yep.
We had a guy that took, 4 or 5 ibuprofens.
Oh.
And then had 2 beers.
Yeah.
And didn't say anything until he was sitting there bleeding profusely. He also kept playing with him, but that's another entirely different subject.
That's really bad on your liver, too.
Touching it.
Ibuprofen really is,
it really thins out the blood. It's an anti-inflammatory. Pretty just it loosens everything.
And that might be obvious to some people, but why that's a problem is we're just tattooers anyway are poking a little hole in there to stuff some ink in there, and if there's something wanting to flow out of there, well, it's hard to get that stuff to stay in there. So either you're gonna end with a tattoo that's not overworked but heals very light and very not just not robust as it should be, or the artist sits there and tries to keep drilling it in, and then you end up with not only a non-robust tattoo, but you maybe scarring and everything else. So, getting a little lubed up and whatever before your tattoo is only going to negatively affect you and your tattoo. It's not going to get you anywhere. Trust me, for first-timers, I can all but guarantee that is not as bad as you think it's going to be.
No.
And I could guarantee you that ibuprofen or some OTC or over-the-counter is not going to numb you out enough that it's going to make any difference whatsoever in the first place. It's just a placebo. And, if you have a headache, it might help, but it's not going to help with...
It doesn't help pain like that.
No. That type of pain.
There are some products that claim that, to be an out... Not exterior.
Topical anesthetic.
But thank you. Like a topical anesthetic that may, or may not give you some relief or whatever. And you can read about that and research it on your own to see if that might be something that is good for you. But any type of, numbing from the inside out. It
usually doesn't work.
Yeah, it really doesn't. For anything like that, for it to work, you would be in a catatonic state almost.
Yeah.
It's like if you take an ibuprofen and you stub your toe, does it still hurt? Oh boy, hurts real bad. That ibuprofen isn't going to stop that type of pain. It's, it's going to dull maybe a pain that's, prolonged. But anyway, I don't know if I'm any more comfortable talking about any type of medication really.
No, and that's a basic thing. And that's the point I'm trying to make is don't ask us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not
the only thing that really would work in most cases to completely dull it out would be an injection of like lidocaine, novocaine, some type of anesthetic that we would have to be a doctor to prescribe to you.
And I've experienced that.
And it usually makes for a shitty experience on my side. Yeah. Because it swells up 5 times its normal size.
And, the experience I've had with it, not directly, but a tattooer I knew was tattooing another tattooer, and through the gray market or whatever, someone he knew, he was able to get, I think it was from a dentist, a can of, injectable stuff. I assume it's the stuff they use to numb your mouth. And the other artist was getting a back piece, a big color back piece. So the artist that was doing the back piece would prick his back with this lidocaine or whatever it was stuff. Yeah. And he said it still hurt.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like it was numb. So not only are you still having some discomfort from the tattoo, you got to go through
all these injections.
An illegal process to have this stuff that you're not supposed to have. So if something happens to you, an allergic reaction, or you get sick from it, then the artist is potentially going to get in a lot of trouble for doing something he's not licensed to do. And you're going through extra pain for really no gain.
And your artist is not prepared for the type of emergency that may happen because of this. We're not a hospital. No. We're here to take care of what happens when you tattoo or pierce. We're not here
if you're following the rules.
If you wanted a cardiac arrest, or if you couldn't breathe because you took something that you're having a severe allergic reaction to. I don't have an EpiPen in every corner.
Right.
It's just the way life is.
Yeah, we know CPR and can hopefully try to keep you alive enough to where the guys
wonderful people
who really
on the bus
know what they're doing, the guys with the Superman freaking logos underneath their shirts, God bless you people. Yeah. We can try to keep you alive until they get here, but don't test my CPR.
Right, I don't want to rely on it.
No. Nope.
Right on. Yeah, that was a good
one. I think we've covered some of the more definite ones. Mm-hmm. So, and just to reverse, get stuff that you want to get done, not because you're trying to save something or save some type of relationship. If that's the case, there's something wrong that is unfixable.
Yep.
Be sober. Research your artists. Make sure that they're professional and personable and all those great things. And if you have any pre-existing medication, medical issues, what have you, check with your doctor.
Mm-hmm. And be willing to accept that bookmark that it's going to give you, at least to some degree. And that's the great thing about tattoos, really. And some people, but you have to be aware of it. It works both ways. Yep. It's a bookmark in the worst chapter or the best chapter. It's wherever you put it. And just, be willing to accept that, even for what it is. Yeah, you might not even, like the look of it. But really, for things like that, a lot of times that's not even the point. It's, having that. But it can happen if you got tattooed in a bad mood to scorn someone. Well, you're always going to be reminded of that scorn. And you might not want to be.
And one final point, and then I think we're good.
Yeah.
No one has died from the pain caused from a piercing or a tattoo.
Nope.
When it comes to all this numbing stuff and etc., chances are you're going to be able to live through it. It may not be a pleasurable experience, but you're going to live through it. And it's probably not going to be nearly as bad as you think it's going to be.
Yep.
So always take that into consideration, especially if you're planning on downing half a bottle of over-the-counter painkillers.
Right. And that's the cost, really, when it comes to it. Tattoos wouldn't even be a thing if you just stuck them on, and there was no sacrifice that you had to make, a fear you had to overcome, anxiety you had to conquer to get that tattoo. So it's a good thing. You'll look at that tattoo and respect that tattoo and be more proud of that tattoo, knowing that you earned it and didn't get it, at a lower cost by skirting around something,
And so this is the thing I always think of, and I brought this up some time ago with somebody. I don't remember what it was. There are plenty of fake piercing jewelry out there. If that was really, if pain was such a big consideration for a majority of the people out there walking around with piercings, or it was so terrible, they would have just went out and bought those fake ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to say the same thing about tattoos. If they hurt that bad, nobody'd have more than one.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think we did that pretty good. I hope you guys gave you some great pointers and some things to think about the next time you get tattooed or pierced. We would ask that if you enjoyed this, found it useful, edifying, whatever, share it with your friends, relatives, and pals, and give us a thumbs up if that's possible where you're at. And, of course, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you're notified every single time we post something. If you like merch, you like t-shirts, you like swag, check out our merch store. Plenty of different designs there. Working on some new ones. Hopefully I'll get them up soon. Till next time, here's hoping all your tattoos and piercings heal with ease and without a single issue. And if you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area, we hope to see you for your body piercing and tattooing needs in the future. Have a good day, everybody. Take care. Thank you for watching or listening.
See you guys. Be good to each other.